What if I told you? What if I told you that in just 7 days, a simple oil, one you probably already have at home, could help revive the one part of your body most men over 60 silently worry about, but rarely talk about? Yes, I'm talking about what's below the belt. And no, this isn't about pills, injections, or surgery. This is about restoring what time, tension, and stress have quietly worn down. Your blood flow, your sensitivity, your confidence as a man. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a urologist and professor specializing in men's health. For over 30 years, I've helped thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reclaim the strength and vitality they thought was gone for good. What I'm about to share with you isn't hype. It's grounded in clinical insight and years of personal experience. Yet, it's something most doctors will never mention. And here's the surprising part. One of the most overlooked solutions for aging, underperforming male tissue, isn't in a prescription bottle. It's found in nature. Applied topically and used correctly, this natural remedy can awaken circulation, restore nerve response, and help you feel strong, warm, and alive again. This one daily habit could change how you feel about your body. Starting this week. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through exactly what oil to use, how to apply it, what to expect day by day, and 3 simple ways to enhance its benefits. If you've been feeling like you've lost a bit of your edge, stay with me. This might change everything. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Tap the button and turn on the bell so you never miss a men's health tip, especially those designed for men over 60. If this speaks to you, even just a little, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and tell me how I can better support your journey. Why most men over 60 struggle down there. Let's start with the real reason so many men feel disconnected from their bodies, especially below the belt. It's not just aging, and it's not your fault. What's really happening is a slow, steady decline in circulation, sensitivity, and cellular vitality in the very area that defines so much of our male identity. I see it all the time. Men in their 60s and beyond, sitting in my office, quietly frustrated. They don't always say it out loud, but I see it in their posture, hear it in their voice. The spark feels gone. Their bodies don't respond the way they used to, and they've convinced themselves this is just aging. But here's the truth. It's not that simple. As we age, the blood vessels in the lower pelvic region, the arteries and capillaries that deliver oxygen-rich blood to the penis, start to narrow and stiffen. They lose the flexibility that once allowed them to expand and flood the area during arousal. Without consistent blood flow, you lose not just function, but sensation. Spontaneous erections fade. Morning stiffness becomes rare or disappears. And as blood flow drops, so does nerve response. What once reacted with the lightest touch now needs more intense stimulation. Eventually, the brain begins to disconnect from this part of the body. It no longer feels like yours. And that loss of connection, it hits deeper than the physical. It affects how you see yourself in the mirror, in your relationship, in your confidence. Let me share something personal. My own father, a strong and proud man who worked with his hands all his life, once told me, "Son, it's like a part of me just stopped waking up. I feel like I'm fading." That moment stuck with me. Not because it was sad, but because it was preventable. He didn't need a miracle. He needed circulation, stimulation, and restoration. And once we gave him that, Once we reactivated his body the right way, he came back to life, not just down there, but in spirit, the forgotten oil that revives blood flow. I'll never forget introducing this oil to one of my longtime patients, Gerald, a 72-year-old Vietnam veteran. Stoic and proud, he finally looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I don't feel like a man anymore." It hit me hard. Not because it was rare, I've heard it before, but because I knew how much life he still had in him. He just needed a right way to unlock it. When I handed him the oil, rosemary essential oil diluted in almond oil, he looked skeptical. "You mean like lotion?" he asked. Exactly. Most people think of rosemary as just a kitchen herb. But for centuries, traditional healers across the Mediterranean have used it to support circulation, reduce inflammation, and stimulate muscle recovery. Now, science is catching up. Rosemary oil contains rosmarinic acid, which relaxes and expands blood vessels. It also has carnosol and cineol, natural compounds that reduce inflammation and enhance nerve response. When applied to the lower pelvic region, the pubic bone, groin, and base of the penis, rosemary oil brings a gentle warmth, not a burning heat, but a subtle activation. As Gerald described it, "It was like electricity under my skin. Not painful, just alive." That's exactly what happens. The oil stimulates peripheral circulation and gently reawakens nerve response. But more than that, it gives men back a sense of control. You're not waiting on a pill or hoping for a lucky night. You're caring for yourself, reconnecting with a part of your body that deserves attention, not shame. That quiet ritual becomes a turning point. Step by step, how to apply the oil. Now that you know the oil, here's how to use it properly. Because how you apply it makes all the difference. One of the biggest mistakes men make is rushing through it, treating it like a chore. But your body, especially after 60, doesn't respond to force. It responds to presence, to care. Here's the method I teach my patients, and even my own father. Step 1. Prepare the oil. Essential oils must be diluted. Mix 3 to 5 drops of rosemary essential oil into 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil. Sweet almond, coconut, or jojoba oil work best. Gently rub it in your palm until it feels warm. That warmth tells your body, something healing is coming. Step 2. Apply with care. Start after a warm shower when your skin is clean and your pores are open. Stand or sit comfortably. Begin at the lower abdomen, just above the pubic bone. Use your fingertips to massage the oil in slow, circular motions. Move outward to your inner thighs, groin, and around the base of the penis. You don't need to apply it directly to the shaft unless you choose to. It's about awakening the surrounding circulation. Step 3. Breathe and be present. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Feel the warmth spreading. Give your body a few minutes to respond. This is your time. Done daily, this simple practice can begin restoring your confidence, not just in performance, but in ownership of your body again. Beneath your hands, for many men, this is the first time in years they've intentionally connected with this part of their body, not for function or frustration, but for healing. That's powerful. That's where the shift begins. You can do this once a day to start, preferably in the evening. Some men do it twice, morning and night, especially in the first week. Each session should take 5 to 7 minutes. Not long, but enough to tell your body, "I'm here, I'm listening, I care." One of my patients, Frank, told me after just 3 days of doing this, He felt something stir inside, not just physically, but emotionally. He said, I didn't know how much I'd missed this kind of attention. It reminded me that I'm still a man. And he was right. This isn't just massage, it's a message to your body, to your nervous system, to your masculinity. And the results? They speak for themselves. What to expect? Day by day progress over 7 days. Most men are skeptical when I say that noticeable results can start within just 7 days. I get it. After years, sometimes decades of decline, it's hard to believe that something as simple as a daily oil ritual could start to bring your body back online. But I've seen it happen. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. And when men stick with it, even just for a week, something changes. Not just below the belt, but in the way they carry themselves, in how they feel about their body again. The first day is often more emotional than physical. You may not feel a huge shift in sensation or performance yet, but that time you spend applying the oil, massaging gently, breathing deeply, it reawakens a connection you may have ignored for years. One man told me after his first session, it wasn't the oil. It was realizing I'd stopped touching myself in a way that felt respectful, like I mattered. That moment of care is where healing begins. By day 2 or 3, you might begin to notice a soft warmth in the area, a subtle buzz or tingling sensation, especially in the morning. That's blood flow returning. That's your body remembering how to respond. It may feel minor at first, but it's real. The tissues are being nourished again. Your nerve endings are waking up. Around day 4 or 5, men often report a change in sensitivity. It becomes easier to get aroused. Erections may come more naturally without needing constant mental stimulation. You might notice a return of morning wood or feel less numb during touch. And with that, confidence begins to quietly rebuild. By day 6, something deeper sets in, not just physically, but emotionally. Men stand taller. They feel more grounded. They look in the mirror and don't see just aging, they see possibility. That's when partners start to notice too. Not always because of sex itself, but because of the energy you're giving off. You're present again. And that energy is magnetic. Day 7 is what I call the mirror moment. You'll catch yourself noticing that the area feels warmer, fuller, more responsive, and you'll realize it's not just about the oil, it's about what it symbolized: attention, intention, and restoration. One man, age 74, said, I thought that part of me was dead, but now it feels like mine again. And that's only the beginning. 7 days opens the door. But what if you could go further? What if you could amplify these results, strengthen them, and make them last with just a few more natural tools? Because while rosemary oil is powerful, there are 3 more oils I often recommend that work even better when used together. Let me introduce you to the perfect trio that takes your results to the next level, and you can adjust accordingly. That's the beauty of working with nature. You're not forcing results, you're inviting them. But even the best oils can only do so much if your daily habits are working against them. The men who experience the most lasting change are the ones who pair this practice with a few simple lifestyle shifts. And no, I'm not talking about diets or gym memberships, just 3 or 4 easy changes. Anyone can start today. Let's talk about how to make this stick. The number one mistake most men over 60 make. This is the hardest part to say, but it needs to be said. The biggest mistake I see men over 60 make isn't physical, it's emotional. It's the quiet decision to give up on themselves. Not all at once, not in some dramatic way, but slowly, silently, day by day. They begin to accept a version of life that's smaller, more limited, less connected. They start to believe that what they're feeling or not feeling is just part of getting older, that their best years are behind them, that intimacy, confidence, and vitality are for younger men. But here's the truth: that belief is more damaging than any diagnosis, because the moment you stop caring for yourself, especially below the belt, you begin to disconnect from the very energy that makes you feel alive. I've seen it time and time again. Men stop looking in the mirror. They stop reaching for their partners. They stop expecting anything better from their bodies. And that quiet resignation, it steals more than just function. It steals joy. One of my patients, Arthur, once said something that broke my heart. I just didn't think I deserved to feel like a man anymore. And I told him what I'll tell you now. You do. You always have. You don't have to settle for decline. Your body is still listening. It's just waiting for you to speak to it. Again, most men focus on surface level fixes. Faster erections, more sensation, more stamina, and that's fine. But they forget the foundation: circulation, nerve response, hormonal balance, presence. Those are the building blocks, and they're still within reach, but only if you shift from resignation to restoration. That's why this oil routine isn't just about results, it's about reclaiming something deeper. The sense that your body is worth caring for, that pleasure is still yours. That feeling good in your skin is not something you need to apologize for. It's something you deserve. The mistake isn't in growing older. The mistake is believing that growing older means giving up on growth. And I promise you, it doesn't. You can age and still awaken. You can slow down and still rise, but only if you show up. Not once, not for a week, but with steady, quiet commitment. And if you're ready to move from a short-term experiment to a lasting, lifelong habit, the next step is key. Because real change doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you repeat. How to make this a lifelong ritual. When I first introduced this oil routine to my patients, most treated it like a short-term experiment. They gave it a week, maybe 2, just to see what would happen. And that's fine. We all need to start somewhere. But what surprised me was how many came back, weeks later, with a new energy in their voice. They didn't just want results anymore. They wanted rhythm. They wanted this to be a part of their life, because healing doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you do consistently, with care. For men over 60, building this into a daily or weekly ritual isn't just helpful, it's powerful. The body responds to patterns, and when you give it the same message every day, you still matter. It starts to believe it. Not just through performance, but through presence, through strength, through sensation. So how do you make it stick? Start simple. Pair the oil massage with something you already do, like brushing your teeth at night or taking your morning shower. Keep the oil in a visible place, not tucked away. Make it part of your space. Then give yourself just 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need candles or music. You don't need anything elaborate. Just your hands, your breath, and your willingness to reconnect. Some of my patients like to start with a short walk, 5 or 10 minutes outside, to get the blood moving. Others add in gentle movement, rising onto their toes, rotating the hips, stretching the thighs. It's not exercise, it's activation. Then the oil. Warm it in your palms. Breathe it in. Let your touch be firm, but kind. You're not rushing, you're listening. This is your time. And the most important part? Consistency. Some days you'll feel more, some days less. But every time you show up, you're telling your body, I'm here. I'm not going away. Over time, that message sinks deep. It becomes less about trying and more about being. A quiet return to something you thought was gone. James, a 66-year-old former truck driver, said it best. This isn't a routine anymore. It's part of me. Like drinking my morning coffee or kissing my wife goodnight. It just belongs. That's the shift we're after. Not just improvement, integration. Because once your body starts remembering how it's supposed to feel, the only question left is, how far can this go? And believe it or not, what we've covered so far is just the beginning. There's one more truth I want to share. One that might change how you see your body, your past, and your future as a man. Let's talk about that now.